Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix. New comic book day for the week of September 7th, and we are going to get started right away. Alright guys, this week we decided to go a little bit more indie. There's a lot of indie stuff that came out this week, so we did go like one Marvel, one DC, just to kind of even things out, but you're going to get a healthy dose of not big two this week. So we are going to be starting with Frank Cho, Skybourne. This is a Boom comic from Boom Studios. Frank Cho, obviously, beautiful artist. It's beautifully done the entire way through. I just don't understand what the hell's going on. The story is supposed to pick up after Lazarus was brought back to life. He had 3 kids, and all 3 of those kids were immortal. We're introduced to 2. One decided he just jumped out of a plane and was tired because I guess his wife had just died. And the other is a kind of a Lara Croft-esque character who is retrieving mystical objects. And this one she's grabbing Excalibur. They're immortal, they're indestructible, or so we think. And that's kind of how this is going. We're not really sure what's going on. We're basically just chasing after Excalibur. And it's a very short read. If you want to pick this up, you're probably going to be done in about 5 minutes because it's that kind of a short read. So I'm not really sure what's going on because there's not a lot of dialogue to go on. She retrieved Excalibur. We don't know why or we don't know for who. So I don't know. Yeah. If you're a fan of Frank Cho, definitely pick this up. If you want more substance, I would pass on it because I don't know what it is. It's a 5-part series, so if every book is going to be as short as this, I don't really know how much story they're going to have to get involved with, so we'll see how it goes.
Hey guys, Tim from Capes and Scowls podcast. You can find me at capesandscowlspodcast.com and all those usual internet places. I'm going to continue with Kill or Be Killed. I did issue number 1 a little bit ago. I really liked it. It's Brubaker and Sean Phillips. They always work together. They love each other. I don't know. They just always work together. The basic plot, if you did not see our other video, which for shame. The basic plot is this kid is really down on his luck. He actually tries to off himself and by jumping off of a roof, and a demon says, I'm going to give you your life back, but every 30 days you need to take another life as payment for the one I gave you, kind of thing. And he can't tell if he's concussed and he's imagining this or if the demon is actually real. He gets to the last day of his 30 days and he decides, I am going to kill somebody in order to save myself. And he remembers someone from his past who did something terrible to a friend of his, and he says, that's the person. And he basically figures out how he's going to do it. He's like, well, I'm pretty useless with my hands, and I'm way too scared to stab somebody. I need a gun. So basically this whole book is him explaining kind of his mental state as he goes, he finds a gun, and he goes and confronts the person he wants to confront. Very good book. I really like this book. It's so weird, though, because you still have no idea if the demon is real or if he's just really concussed from falling off a roof and surviving. It's good, though. It's Brubaker. If you like Brubaker, this is more good Brubaker. I actually just added this to my bin. That's how much I like it. So, Kill or Be Killed. It's pretty awesome.
DC Comics, Supergirl number 1. This is the actual number 1, not the Rebirth title. Again, I followed this one up because I'm not really sure what's going on. It's a retcon, obviously. Kara has been on Earth a grand total of a couple weeks. She's part of the DEO. So it's kind of a mesh between a Batgirl comic and the CW TV show. We're dealing with the DEO, we're dealing with Cat Grant and everything like that, but it's still very weird because she's a teenager. She's like 13 or 14 years old, and in her world, she literally just got back from Krypton. So there's not a lot to go on. I'm worried about this title, that it's going to go way too young, kind of like how the Batgirl titles are, or even even though you should be reading them to your kids, the Harley Quinn comics. So I'm not really sure how to go on this one. The art is beautiful. There is some interaction with Superman. So if you're a Superman fan, you'll get the little cute nod to her cousin. There's a very big twist at the end. So if you are a fan of the Superman series and have been for at least 20 years, you will get a really kind of epic surprise at the end. Again, if you're a fan of Supergirl, if you're a fan of Superman, pick this title up. If you're not, avoid it because you're really not going to get something that you like. It's not going to give you something that you're really looking for.
Alright guys, back with Moon Knight number 6. If you don't know me, I love Moon Knight. And this book did everything I wanted it to do. It's still very confusing. That hasn't changed. It has Mark Spector in various roles. He's actually Stephen Grant filming the Moon Knight movie for Marvel Studios. He talks about weird things like Ant-Man not making a lot of money stateside, but it made a lot of money overseas. It's very strange. He goes back to the mental hospital from the earlier issues, and it talks about the movie bringing awareness of mental illness, and he's a former patient, so they have a fundraiser at the hospital. But the important thing about this book, as confusing as all that is, and you're like, what? That doesn't make sense. And you're right. It's not supposed to, I think. You'll notice a ton of people worked on this book. And I had said last time on issue 5, there's something really cool about the book that I want you to discover for yourself. What they did starting on the last issue that they did continue here is every time he switches personalities, the art changes. So you will have different art depending on which personality Moon Knight takes. It's very different art each time, and it really helps move the story along and conveys whatever emotion he's getting into, because he only goes into certain personalities based on how he's feeling. This book, still confusing as all hell, but it was awesome. And I love the idea of different artists doing different personalities. So I say keep reading it.
Alright guys, my last book is, if you saw, I believe it was last week, no, 2 weeks ago, we were doing the series you should be reading, and we talked about Wayward from Jim Zub. This is Glitterbomb, his newest issue. This is a lot different than anything Jim Zub has done, because this is straight up horror, but it is very well written. It is very well done. I like the art into it. We are following basically a has-been actress who has just tanked her newest audition because, of course, she's too old for the title that she's going for. And she feels the need to kind of go for a soul search, if you will, into the Pacific Ocean. She gets in there and is immediately attacked by some type of demon and is possessed. And that's about what we got so far. She, at the very beginning of this comic, she kills her agent, doesn't realize what's going on. So it's a very Jekyll and Hyde split personality type thing. But it is, like I said, it's very well written. If you're a fan of Jim Zub, pick this one up. If you're a fan of horror, definitely pick this one up. If you're just looking for something different that's not a superhero comic, this is definitely one to pick up. Otherwise, if you're not any of those, avoid it. It's an Image title, so if you're not if you're kind of solely into the big two, then this one wasn't on your radar anyway. But I definitely recommend it.
Alright, so I have a Image Top Cow joint release of Eclipse by Zach Kaplan and Giovanni Timpano, who I have never heard of, and I'm not familiar with what they've done. I'll have to look that up for you later. This book was awesome. It was awesome, Paul. Who knew? This book is a story about an alternate Earth, I guess, and basically what had happened is there was an event that pretty much a giant solar flare went off and fried basically everybody on the planet. The few people that survived live underground now, and they can only be topside at night. This guy, your main character, he works for the government and he wears a special cold suit so he can go out during the day. Well, nobody can survive without these suits, and the only people who have the suits work for the government. There's literally not that many people left alive. What happens is when the curfew starts and everybody starts going outside, and these guys go to check to make sure everything's okay, they find a dead body. Somebody who had been left outside and burned. Except the only reason they know it's a murder is somebody took his blood and wrote a Bible passage on a door behind him. So they need to figure out why did that happen. Did one of these guys murder somebody, or is it something else? There is whoever the leader is, whether they're the governor, the president, whatever this character is, it's the leader. There is a death threat that comes in saying they're going to do something similar to that person's daughter, and that plan is carried out throughout this issue. You do find out how the burning happens. It is awesome. Very creative story. And I even added this to my bin, too. That's how much I liked it. I never heard of this. See, that's why you got to try new things, kids. This book was awesome. Enjoy. Eclipse.
All right, guys. Last, and of course, adding to our series of comics that you probably should be reading. Anybody watch Stranger Things? I mean, obviously, this is a rhetorical question because I'm talking to a video right now. But
I've seen it!
Thank you, random fan who is nodding their head to this. But if you watch
Not a problem!
if you watch Stranger Things, there was an article that just came out about 8 different comics that you should read if you were into Stranger Things. So I decided to kind of pick up on that. We've already read Wayward, which was on that title, but this is Wytches. This is definitely horror. Kind of a mix of Stranger Things, but definitely way more Children of the Corn. It is a creepy book. The art is extremely dark and just like I'm not even really a fan of it, but the writing is beautiful. It's Scott Snyder, so if you're a fan of Batman, if you're a fan of his writing already, you need to pick this book up. We meet our girl, our protagonist is a sailor. She is pledged to Wytches. It is, like I said, it's a very Children of the Corn type situation. We find that she is betrothed to these witches, and she's literally going to be eaten. Like, these are not the cute little Wizard of Oz type witches. These are the evil, creepy looking, we are going to eat you, like right down to the toes, and like floss with the toenails. Like, this is just creepy. They were just very dark and twisted, gnarled type creatures. The pledges are a sacrifice. If someone pledges a person, the witches are basically genies. They grant any type of wish, and they seek out those selfish natures. And that is how she comes into this town where she is stuck with everyone who has offered pledges and understands what is going on, and she is literally like the next meal. I don't want to go too far into that, but this is an amazing series. It is so well written that I didn't care about the art. The art is something along the lines of Lazarus, where it just like it's not something I like, but the writing surpasses everything that's going on. I highly suggest this one. I'm looking forward to the next trade to see how this continues. Definitely as high as I Hate Fairyland or Wayward. Definitely pick up this trade, especially if you want to be creeped the hell out. If you were a fan of Children of the Corn, if you're a fan of Wayward, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, this is definitely one to pick up. Thanks, guys, for another week. If you are a fan of the comic book store and you shop here, or you're close enough to shop in the South Jersey area, definitely stop by on not August 1st.
That wouldn't be helpful.
That wouldn't be helpful at all unless you have a time-traveling vehicle, in which case, why are you coming here? But definitely, October 1st is their anniversary sale, so definitely come down here. The entire store is on sale. There is a percentage off of something that you may like. So definitely stop by and show some patronage, because you guys have been good to us for a long time now. So thanks again, and we will see you next week.